6 of the Code of Practice on the Prevention and Eradication of Sexual Harassment in the Workplace, sexual harassment in the workplace includes any employment-related sexual harassment occurring outside the workplace as a result of employment responsibilities or employment relationship. Situations under which such an employment-related sexual harassment may take place includes, but is not limited to, at work-related social functions, in the course of work assignments outside the workplace, at work-related conferences or training sessions, during work-related travel, over the phone, and through electronic media. Sexual harassment in the workplace can happen in both public and private sectors.
If the employer happens to be the harasser, sometimes it's happened that way, so the employee can come to Labour Department and make a complaint. And with that, the Labour Department we will investigate into the complaint so the victim can have the justice.
When we say law, currently there is law within the Employment Act, there's law within the Penal Code, but there's no stand-alone act for sexual harassment. Yeah, so this is one of the things that we should have. But even with law, if it is not implemented, it is not going to be effective. So taking from an internal organization, have policies. That's the third step here. Have policies where an organization can state very clearly what is their stand on sexual harassment, no tolerance of sexual harassment. Within the policy, what are the mechanisms for reporting, investigation, what are the support you can give to not just the survivor or the victim, but also the perpetrator.
No matter how much the compensation is, we would like to urge women as well as men to report any cases of sexual assault to the authority. Start by making a police report, followed by seeking legal assistance from the Ministry of Human Resources and its related agencies.
The income losses that incur by the employee, but it only can claim through the civil court, not through our Labour Department. We only do the process of investigation, but in the sense of an employment side. But the employee also have another venue or make a police report and make it as a criminal procedures. Ours is a civil procedures. But we can have the venue, make a police report, make it as a criminal procedures, and we can file a claim through defamation or damages through the civil court. But the court doesn't set any amount. It depends on the judge to see the position or income loss, then they will order the amount compensation to the employees.
According to Article 9 of the Code of Practice on the Prevention and Eradication of Sexual Harassment in the Workplace, there are 5 possible forms of sexual harassment: verbal harassment, non-verbal or gestural harassment, visual harassment, psychological harassment, and physical harassment. Forms of sexual harassment: verbal harassment. Example: offensive or suggestive remarks, comments, jokes, jesting, kidding, sounds, and questioning. Non-verbal or gestural harassment. Example: leering or ogling with suggestive overtones, licking lips, or holding or eating food provocatively, hand signal or sign language denoting sexual activity, persistent flirting. Visual harassment. Example: showing pornographic materials, sketching sex-based images, or writing sex-based letters and sexual exposure. Psychological harassment. Example: receiving repeated unwanted social invitations, relentless proposals for dates, or physical intimacy. Physical harassment. Example: inappropriate touching, petting, pinching, stroking, brushing up against the body, hugging, kissing, fondling, or sexual assault.
Some perpetrators are not even aware what they are doing is a form of sexual harassment. So these are people that has to be spoken to, and training is one of the best means of doing it. But for those who have experienced sexual harassment, they face a trauma, psychological trauma. So counseling support is very important, where colleagues can work together, support one another. So forming speak-up circles. Main thing is everything can be done, but if the organization don't change their culture and nobody nobody there to speak up, because the culture is such that if you're the boss, you don't talk about your boss. You don't inform to these people.
According to the Article 9 of the Code of Practice on the Prevention and Eradication of Sexual Harassment in the Workplace, organizations are encouraged to come up with outlines of in-house mechanisms to combat sexual harassment in the workplace as to prevent, handle, and eradicate sexual harassment among staff and employees. Some of the elements that should be included are a policy statement prohibiting sexual harassment in the workplace, a clear definition of sexual harassment, a complaints and grievance procedure, disciplinary rules and penalty against the harasser and against those who make false accusations, protective and remedial measures for the victim, and promotional and educational programs to explain the company's policy on sexual harassment and to raise awareness of sexual harassment and its adverse consequences among the company's employees, supervisors, and managers.
We only can assist sexual harassment happen in the private sector, companies, workplace. Before this, we have one code of conduct, prevention of sexual harassment. With that, we put up rules and regulation for the employer to follow to establish an internal mechanism to prevent sexual harassment. With that code of conduct, since 1999, now we enact it into a law, put into the Employment Act. So for the private sector, they can go through the same process as I said just now, come to the Labour Department and complain, and we will take for them from there.
It was reported that most cases of sexual harassment in the workplace are usually addressed in accordance with the Industrial Relations Act 1967, which only involves damages, dismissal of the perpetrator, or offer of re-employment to the victim. Here is the recent sexual harassment statistics based on cases reported to the Royal Malaysian Police, PDRM.
How we can protect our people from sexual harassment is make sure that no one is violated by sexual harassment. And to do that, everyone has a responsibility. Respect each other, treat each other with dignity. And then when you do not violate these rights of the people, be it, we are all human beings, yeah? If we respect, I think we will cut down on that. And the law should come in when people don't follow the law, then you take action. But even within this action, it should be supportive to the victim. Because currently, if you want to take any action, it's very difficult. Yeah, if you want to go to court, you got to pay for lawyers. If you want to go through any mechanism, it's difficult. So let's make it as easy as possible. And hopefully, the Ministry of Women, which has now taken up this issue of sexual harassment so seriously, we look forward to really having a proper, good act that will protect all concerned.
Based on a research on the sexual harassment in the workplace, selected court cases and new legal provisions in Malaysia, Kamal Halili Hassan and Yi Jing Lee, 2015, concluded that Malaysian laws offer limited redress for sexual harassment complaints, whether it occurs at the labour, administrative or criminal level. We definitely need the authorities to consider a separate act, specifically to deal with sexual harassment in the workplace in Malaysia.